Peer pressure.
Beginner anxiety.
Let's fucking talk about
Let's fucking talk about it.
Welcome back to the BBR podcast, Bitch Be Real.
We talk about our real personal experiences with self-improvement and character development.
We're saying fuck unrealistic standards pressured by social and cultural norms.
If you're tired of the bullshit too, let's get into it.
Peer pressure, by definition, is influence from members of one's peer group. But to me, I don't feel like that's 100% accurate, at least for this episode's purposes, because if you influence me at all, that's not peer pressure. Like, your influence from me to, I'm like, bitch, I'm not doing good today. And you're like, go meditate, go do this. Like, that's influence, but in a positive way.
Yeah.
And when I think of peer pressure, and I think a lot of people think of peer pressure, it's more like negative connotation. It's pressuring you to do something you're not ready for, that you don't want to do to fit in with the crowd.
I think beginner anxiety is pretty similar to that, but it's more like internalized version of that, where it's like your personal, like, negative self-talk from the inside, where you're like, nobody's actually really judging you yet. You're just, you're not ready, and you're nervous about the new thing.
Yeah.
So
there are a few common things that, like, as you're growing up or as you're younger, there's a lot of peer pressure and beginner anxiety around. At least for me, the main ones were like drinking, smoking, hookup culture, like starting to have sex with people. Like, I felt it wasn't as much peer pressure to do those things because I wanted to do them. Like, I never felt like I drank or smoked or had sex before I was ready. Mm-hmm. It was more like, I'm ready, but I'm nervous to do it because I don't know how to do it. I'm nervous to try to smoke or drink for the first time because I don't know how many drinks are going to get me drunk. I don't know how to hit this joint. Like, that's what I was nervous about growing up, was I want to do this, but I don't know how. And I feel like people are going to know I've never done it before and judge me because I'm not doing it right. My first really vivid memory was I was at my best friend's house, and when I used to do all these things, like when I tried most of everything for the first time, it was with my childhood best friend and like her boyfriend, and usually her boyfriend's friend. And clearly I was really comfortable with my best friend at the time, but I wasn't comfortable around her boyfriend or his friends at all. They made me really fucking nervous because they were older than me and I didn't really know them like that. And they just were kind of judgmental people, like, if we're being real. And so the first time I felt like really pressured or like just anxious around drinking was they were doing body shots, and some guy got fucking set up with the like sugar or salt, I don't even remember what it was, like on his stomach, liquor in his belly button, and they were like, bro, go. And I had never seen anyone do a body shot. I had never done a body shot. I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Like, he's got a fucking shot in his belly button and some shit on his stomach, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do first. Like, I don't know if I give it a lick and then a suck out of the belly button. Like, I'm just really confused. And when you're growing up and people are really immature, it's like saying fucking Dick's Sporting Goods. They're like, oh, haha, Dick's. Like, that's the vibe it was. I was like, what if I lick it off his stomach and that's not what I was supposed to do? And then they are like, oh, she was trying it, she wants you, kind of thing. Or like, I just don't do it right. And they're like, Brooke, what the fuck was that? And then they go and do it, and they do it completely different. And it's clear that I'm the one who's never done it. Like, that's what I was worried about.
Mm-hmm. It sucks that nobody in there was like,
this is how
let me do it first, I'll show you.
Yeah.
Like,
because that's what you need in these situations.
I agree. Like, it's okay to feel that pressure for the first time and like experience it, because then like now you know.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, it's like it's not worth the embarrassment of being forced to do that and like feeling that pressure.
Not fun at all.
I've never been in an environment where body shots were being taken, and I don't think that I ever want to be in an environment where body shots are being taken.
I wouldn't recommend. It's really not that fun. You don't know their hygiene.
Yeah, the belly button's weird because men are not good about cleaning their belly button out, bro.
I'm sure I got a fucking little bit of lint.
Ew.
Put it behind me.
In the past.
I've brushed my teeth many times since then, so just put it back there.
For drinking, I don't think I ever really had like a first time like crazy like peer pressure story. Smoking, on the other hand, we have a little bit of a fun story for that because it was with you. I actually had someone there who was like, this is how you're going to feel. Like, this is what's going to happen. Like, this is what you should do. This is how you need to hold it. Because, bitch, my hand was like, I was like so stiff. Like, what do I do with my hands? And you were like, okay, well, first of all, you need to relax your hands. So I was like,
because this is the joint. She said, Like, and I mean, that's how I hit that shit the first time too. Like, you don't know. And I was like, you know, pull a little. Yeah. I was like, just so that if you hit it around someone else, you're going to look a little bit more relaxed in the state if you pull a little opposed to a, you know?
Yeah.
No judgment either way how you hit a joint.
Right.
Just, you might look a little bit more calm.
You were doing some fucking tricks with it or whatever, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? She's like, you got to get it to burn all the way around. And I was like, okay, cool. And this was literally like 2 weeks ago. So let's just preface this with the fact that I was 21 the first time I smoked weed. Like, but I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And she's like, you got to make sure it's burning all the way. It's burning evenly. And I was like, all right, cool. So then we smoked the first time, and I didn't really feel anything at all. She's like, you don't feel like tipsy? Like when you look around, it's not like, you know, wavy or anything? And I was like, no. You said, are those people really ugly or am I just high? And I was like, bitch, are you high? And she was like, yeah, you should definitely be high right now, Bessie. And I was like, I'm not. So we lit it up again, and I got high that time. And it was just really good. Like I didn't have the anxiety of this one. There was no paranoid feelings. Mm-hmm. It was just good. And then I texted you like 2 days later, like, I'm about to smoke with my boyfriend. You got to teach me how to light it up and put it out because, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to look fucking stupid. So she FaceTimes me while she's at work, and she's like, okay, this is what you're going to do, and fucking explain to me how you light it. She's like, twist it so it makes sure, like, you make sure you burn it evenly or whatever. And I was like, okay. And then she's like, when you put it out, don't hold it at the top, hold it at the bottom, and, like, just tap it a little bit and twist it. And I was like, okay.
And I feel like that's the thing, too. Like, not giving myself fucking praise by any means, but I feel like in situations like this, it's really important for, like, especially if you're, like, nervous about it in any way or, like, you just haven't done something. It goes for anything. It's going to be way better when you're around somebody who will never judge you and it's just there to make sure you're having a good fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, we're sitting there, and I'm like, Bessie, if you start feeling a little bit too high, it's chill. You can't OD on weed. Like, because I've been there. Like, I've been the person that, like, my first time smoking, specifically out of fucking Gravity Bong, I got zooted as fuck and was like, I'm about to overdose. Like, I'm not feeling okay. Like, I actually think I'm about to die. I'm over here, like, I can't open my eyes. I'm fucking manually breathing. And, like, those were my first, like, 20 experiences smoking. Like, I constantly thought I was about to OD. I constantly was paranoid. Like, I constantly was like, holy fuck, I'm about to green out. Like, I don't feel good. This isn't a good experience. And I was like, I don't want you fucking feeling like that, because I got past it and realized, like, you're fucking chill. Mm-hmm. Like, you're good. And did it in environments I was comfortable in. And I was like, that's the fucking experience I want you. I don't want you to fucking be over there like, oh, fuck, I'm about to OD. Yeah. And, like, you don't know. Yeah. Like, you don't know that your heart's going to race a little bit. You're going to fucking get a little bit hot. You might, you know, feel this way or this way. Because nobody ever told me that's how, like, it was normal to feel like that. Yeah. And it's like, so having somebody there to be like, girl, you can't OD, you know. If you start feeling too high, just let me know. You know, I'll get you some water. You know, you're going to feel this. You're going to feel this. Because a few times you're like, bitch, I feel a little. And I was like, that's normal. Mm-hmm. Keep it pushing.
You were like, not play with. You were like, touch your leg. And I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, I was like, bitch, sex on this? Bomb.
It was, too.
I'm saying. I feel like on the topic of sex is, like, another huge thing that I felt like hella beginner anxiety with. Not even peer pressure, because, like, I wanted to have sex. Yeah. But when I had sex, like, until more recently, you know, like 18, 19, like, the first few times I had sex, like, you don't really know what to do. And I don't care what anyone says. Your first time having sex, you can watch all the porn you want. You can fucking do whatever you want. But when you're in the real life situation, you're like, what do I do with my hips? How much do I moan? What do I say? What do I say? How do I give head? Mm-hmm. Like, and my first time having sex, or, like, my first few times, wasn't with people that I was, like, super comfortable with, and, like, people that I felt like wouldn't judge me. They would kind of walk me through it. So I kind of felt like I just had to figure this shit out really quickly, or they were going to be like, yeah, that bitch gave whack head. Right. Like, that bitch did not know what to do. Like, sex was trash. But it's like, I was fucking, until you've done it and you get the reps in, you don't know how to do something. Like, I'm sorry, but getting on top for the first time, especially, my biggest anxiety, because I was like, you know, when you're normally having sex, if the guy knows what he's doing, then, like, you know, you're pretty much good.
Yeah, you don't really have to do much.
But when you're on top, this is on you. He's just laying there.
Right.
So, like, if it's bad in this moment, it is because of you. And I was like, do I go up and down? Do I go side to side? Do I do a fucking...
Do you smell coconut or...
Yeah, do I do a fucking 360 turn? Like, what do I do here?
360 turn is crazy.
Do I levitate on it and fucking, like, what do you do? Like, I was like, I don't... Like, I didn't get on top till, like, last year because I was like, I'm so nervous about what to do.
Yeah.
And I've talked to you about it. I've been like, bitch, what do you do up there? Like, what do you be doing? Because I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And eventually I figured it out, and I'm like, okay. But I was like, they're going to judge me. Like, that was, like, my biggest thing. I was like, they're going to be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
God forbid you're doing, and they're just kind of looking at you like,
yeah,
what are you doing? Like, they aren't seeming like they're fucking into it at all, and you're over there fucking trying your best, and it's like,
tell me what to do.
Please move my hips, do something, like, help me.
And then, but bitch, we both have this experience when you get that person that's like, that almost coaches you through it, especially as a woman. Like, first of all, hot as fuck when you're telling me what to do.
Yeah.
Second of all, when I'm not when I'm not 100% confident in doing this, like, and you're willing to, like, tell me, like, yeah, that was good, like, that's how you should do that, like, double down on that, or, like, maybe try it a different way next time, like,
or even,
it's just, it makes me that much more enthusiastic about actually fucking trying new shit when you're almost, like, coaching me, you know?
Yeah, like, and that's what everyone needs. Like, at some point, everyone needs, in almost everything in life, somebody to be like, that's not right, this is right, this was good, this was bad.
Yeah.
And not in a judgmental way, in a like, okay, that didn't really hit this time, but like what you did last time was really good, like maybe try that again. Or like even in shit as work, like, you know, at work when we started serving together, you were like, I don't really, like, what do you do? And I was like, this is what I do. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then you'd be like, oh, I feel like I kind of fucked that up. And I'd be like, oh, well, I think you should try this. I think this might be good. Like, everybody needs that in everything.
Yeah. Also, I feel like something that goes along with that, too, is, like, if you're knowledgeable on something and you're around people that maybe aren't as knowledgeable and they don't really know what they're doing, like, why be the person that is the epitome of their fear in that moment instead of having, like, a teachable moment where you can be like, no, like, I was like that once, too. Like, I remember being anxious about something or, like, not really knowing. Like, let me help you. Yeah. Instead of being like, you're dumb because you don't know.
If you're ever in the position where you're the person that has something, like, more knowledge on something, and you see someone who, like, probably doesn't, or you know they don't, or, like, they seem a little confused, instead of being like, ew, she's new at it, she doesn't know what she's doing, that's not good. Yeah. Be like, oh, do this, try this. Like, and let them know that you were once there. Because everyone had beginner anxiety about something at some point. Yeah. Like, everyone didn't know what they were doing at some point in their life. Yeah. Like, even, like, at smoking or drinking, like, everybody smoked for the first time. Everybody drank for the first time, and they've probably felt it, too. Yeah. So, just be the fucking person that is, like, nice.
Even in the gym. Like, I feel like a lot of people, like, everyone says, like, everybody in the gym's too focused on their own goals to be paying attention to you, but that doesn't negate the anxiety that you have going in, being like, if I don't know what I'm doing, like, people are going to judge me. And, like, there's obviously, like, tips, like, having a plan when you go into the gym, like, before you go in so that you're not just, like, standing around, like, not knowing what you're doing. But, like, even things as simple as that. And, like, if somebody has the confidence to, like, come over to you or, like, builds up the courage to ask a question and be, like, vulnerable in that way, like, why be the dick and be like, you're dumb because you don't know?
Yeah. And I feel like working out is just a vulnerable thing because you're in, like, compromising positions. And I feel like working out, to me, I've gone and worked out at, like, lifters gyms. Like, my brother has gone through periods of times where he gets not into powerlifting, but gets really into, like, weightlifting. Like, not, like, on the machines. But my brother's a pretty fucking strong dude. Yeah. And my brother will take me to the gym, and he goes to lifters gym so that they have heavier weights. And, like, there are people in there who are fucking bodybuilder competition level, like, this is all they do. And walking in, it's super fucking intimidating because I'm over here trying to fucking move this, like, 10-pound weight, and I'm struggling, and I know my form's shitty. But it's like, even just having someone like my brother who knows what the fuck he's doing, like, he's been working out for years, and, like, he's coaching me through it and clearly not judging me because he's my fucking brother.
Yeah.
Like, cuts my gym anxiety, but it's like going alone. Like, I go to the gym in my apartment complex and it's super small. And even if there's one person in there, I'm like, holy fuck. Like, I'm nervous right now. And so I usually, if I go in there, if I build up the courage to even go in there, I usually just go in this little room and do fucking yoga. Because I'm like, I know how to do yoga. And, like, I go on, like, the really simple machines that I'm like, okay, it's really hard to fuck this up. But like free weights or like anything like that, I'm like, I cannot do this because I don't know what I'm doing.
And honestly, I think that it takes a long time to build the confidence to do that. Like Bulgarian split squats were like my biggest thing for so long because they're so fucking hard.
Yeah.
And like knowing that you're about to do something that everybody thinks is super fucking hard. And then, you know, it's that, again, it's a very vulnerable position. Like you're in a fucking split, basically. Yeah. And the balance is crazy. I've never had really good balance. So fucking like, God forbid, falling over.
Yeah.
And there's other people in there and then like trying to hold the weight and like making sure that your foot's in the right spot and like you're not going to fuck up your knees doing it. Like stuff like that. It's like, I think it takes it's taken me like a year to actually go into the gym and be like, okay, like I got this. Like I can do it.
Yeah. See, for me too, it's like, okay, if you've never worked out before, you're not going to go out the bat lifting some heavy-ass weights. Like...
You wouldn't, but, like, ego lifters would.
Yeah, like, you wouldn't just because you're probably going to fuck yourself up. And if you do, let's be real, everybody's going to know you're struggling because you're not fucking that strong yet. Like, there's no shame in it. Like, if I went in the gym right now and tried to fucking... bench press something, I would not be able to do it. I have fucking chicken arms. Like, I would not. And even, like, I was doing something or I was working out with my brother and he was like, lift this, like, 20-pound weight above your head. And I was like, ooh. And, like, I was fucking struggling. And I was like, everybody's probably looking at me like, this bitch can't lift 20 pounds over her head. And it's, like, trying to do something with a low weight and then realizing that, like, you're even fucking struggling to do that. And then you're like, God forbid somebody looks over here mid-struggle to move this weight and they look at it and it's like 5 pounds and they're over there doing it with like 200 and you're like,
no, literally.
You're like, this is a little embarrassed. I feel embarrassed. My brother, he was doing something with some absurdly fucking heavy thing and he didn't have a spot or like something happened and he dropped it on him and fucked something up. I don't even remember, but like I feel like it was a pretty severe fuck up, but my brother be getting injured every other day. So like I've just lost track.
Getting hit by cars and shit.
I'm getting hit by cars. That was a light work at this point. My brother is the most confident person ever, just in the fact that he just does not give a fuck. And I think he might have taught me that a little bit. But he was like, yeah, I dropped it and was just like, damn, and left. And I was like, I would have probably wanted to hide in my car. And not because what happened was embarrassing in any way, but just because I would have been so in my mind, like, everybody saw me do that. I can never come back to this gym. Like, I'm so embarrassed. I can't do this anymore. Like, you fuck up one time and you're like, the whole gym just saw that happen and I literally can't go back, is what I would be thinking.
Yeah. That goes back to our confidence episode where we tell everybody to not give a fuck. So if you haven't listened to that. Getting away from the gym stuff and getting back into, like, trying new things. If you're new at something, you're not going to be good at it at first. Like, you're going to there's a learning curve. If you go back in my YouTube channel and look at the first couple of videos, fucking terrible. But I'm not going to take them down. Because, like, I enjoy seeing, like, this is what I used to put on the fucking internet. Yeah. And this is what I can do now. And it took me 3 years to do that. And it's like, for me, that's a teachable moment for anyone that's trying to do something new. Like, if you don't think you're going to be good at something, go back and look at my fucking old YouTube videos. And look at the 3 minutes of footage that's just, like, shaky, terrible. The audio quality's, like, trash. The concept in the video, it skips around. Like, I cut out every sentence, like every other fucking, like every breath. Yeah. Like, there's no flow to it at all. And then the videos, I'm literally being paid now to make videos. Yeah. And it's like, there's always something that you can see that other people do in the beginning that will give you the confidence to start, because you're not going to be good at it in the beginning. Yeah. And, like, that's cool. Like, don't let your fucking beginner anxiety consume your life, because you're never going to fucking do anything fun. Yeah. Like, professional skydivers and shit, like, they were also being held by somebody at one point. They were also strapped to somebody else who knew what they were doing at some point. The nail tech that you go to, guarantee she got some horrid nails.
Yeah, she was probably a little shitty in the beginning.
She got pictures of fucked up nails where she like cut people up and shit. But now look at your hands.
Now
beautiful.
She'd be doing great work. Let's be real. I feel like peer pressure is kind of a high school thing.
Yeah.
Now it's most people. I feel like if we were in college, maybe it would be different.
Yeah.
Because college is just like an upgraded fucking level of high school in so many ways.
Yeah.
But since we're both not in college, I feel like we both probably don't experience peer pressure a ton anymore, like if at all, really, for me personally. But like I still get beginner's anxiety doing certain things because you're always going to be trying something new. At least that's what we strive for mainly, is like we're always going to try something new. I guarantee you when we start fucking going overseas and I start going out of the country traveling, I'm going to be fucking anxious because I don't know. I've never been on a fucking plane. I've never even been in an airport. So like I'm going to be confused on, like, what the hell to do.
Got you, bestie.
Yeah, see, you got me in that area. If you don't, in some way, learn to overcome beginner's anxiety, then you're never going to try anything new.
Yeah.
And then your life is going to be sad. Let's be fucking real.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've already touched a lot on having that good support system and surrounding yourself with people just generally in your life. Like, I really personally don't think you should be around or have anyone in your life that would make you feel shitty for being new at something.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't need those people in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So if your friend group, if you're scared to do new things in front of them, you probably need a new friend group.
Yeah.
If we're being real. I feel like also just realizing not giving a fuck, going back to our other episode, like you said, like confidence, I think really ties into overcoming it, and just realizing like everybody was new at something at some point. If somebody's judging you for being new at something, they're shitty and that's on them. You shouldn't give a fuck about their opinion at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, going off of that, I mean, feeling beginner's anxiety and peer pressure is inevitable. Like, it's just going to happen. And it's natural. Like, it's not something that you should be ashamed of.
Yeah.
But just recognizing that you have some kind of control over it and, like, not letting the peer pressure influence the beginner's anxiety to do something it's not ready to do.
Yeah. Key.
Is key.
That's key.
Per.
Well, I think that's all we've got for peer pressure and anxiety for today.
As always, you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, at the BBR Pod.
We'll see you next time. Say something to us.
Comment, subscribe, share, copy link.
Do it all.
Do what you gotta do.
Do everything that every fucking influencer says to do at the end of the video. We'd appreciate it.
Love ya.
Love ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.